What is going on, everybody? Crypto Ed here. Welcome back for another session. And today I'm excited to introduce to you Rose Pinochet. Rose has been very active. She's a mover and shaker within the crypto space, running one of the biggest crypto groups on Facebook. A bit about Rose. Rose is the co-founder of Gaia Coin and the VP of Public Relations for Gaia Coin. She manages the public affairs and communications for corporation in a variety of industries. Rose works with clients and teams to develop communication strategies and responses to issues across multiple sectors. She's a media relations strategist, working with just a lot of companies. She holds a BA in philosophy, political science from Fordham University, is a Lean Sigma 6 black belt, and part of the Pi Sigma Tau philosophical fraternity in NYC. Rose was born and raised in New York and now lives in Austin, Texas. So Rose, the stage is yours.
Thank you so much, Ed, for that introduction. And thank you for giving us a slot to talk about communities, NFTs, Gaia Coin, things like that. I'm very, very excited to be here, especially because as the face of Gaia and someone who, who's there to show people the ins and outs of NFTs, crypto communities, we have to understand that this is such a new space. And that's kind of what everyone, everyone's buzzing about. Well, I don't understand the space. I don't think the space exists. And I mean, they're not wrong. They're not wrong at all. So here we are to facilitate it. And one of the greatest things about Gaia Coin, and we'll speak about that a little bit later with Curtis, who's the CEO and founder, is that we have a great tokenomics model for Gaia Coin, pretty much putting action into the blockchain. And we have very liberty-minded ideas in terms of what communities need to be and should be. And the beauty about Gaia and what we're trying to do with all of our projects and our, and hopefully our sponsors, is to bring NFTs, crypto to the people while building a community. And I mean, a lot of people say, well, how are we going to do that if it's not face-to-face? And again, all valid questions, and that's why I'm here to address them. So I think the beauty of all this online stuff is that we have the ability to build a brand new community, right? So we have the ability to do collaborative investment funds, right? We can do things like cooperative gallery models. And we've seen that, in small spaces. Like, I mean, I'm from New York City. We've seen that in Chelsea. We've seen that in Williamsburg, Greenpoint, so on and so forth. But now let's take all these interests and communities and bring them closer together. And the potential for this collaborative future is exactly what DAOs are, which are decentralized autonomous organizations. So it's pretty much all of us. It's a group of people kind of like trying to pursue a shared goal. And our shared goal just happens to be on the blockchain. And why is this good? Because when we pursue a shared goal, sometimes some people don't want to hold their end of the bargain. Blockchain lets everyone, holds everyone to their accountability. So we like transparency, efficiency, and the way you can think of it is like a cooperative group that's kind of bound together by the set of bylaws, and those bylaws are hard-coded in blockchain. And some of these blockchains are, yes, NFTs, and they can be used for different purposes, art, whatever, but the possibilities are endless. And that's kind of what we're here to do. So every single blockchain company has their own motives, and that's fine, and that's wonderful. At Gaia Coin, our pillars are liberty and transparency, which are under the same umbrella, and environmental action, because we really hope to bring the world into a better state and better than the way we found it. So since I'm here to speak about, not just the beauty of blockchain, but really NFTs, which is kind of my favorite subject, because so many people in this day and age, again, like I said, think NFTs are applicable only to gaming. And I can see that, you know, before I got into NFTs, I rolled my eye at it. I said, well, I'm not really into gaming. I'm one of the rare people who doesn't like gaming. So what does this application have? So when Curtis and I started speaking, I started understanding how to unlock the potential for NFTs and how to really bring more and more people on board with them. So I was actually speaking to a friend of mine on Twitter, and he was telling me about like this awful road trip. And he's like, oh my God, I had to pay because like these people, you know, they weren't prepared and this and that. And at the end of the road trip, he was out $1,000 instead of the allocated 200 he thought was going to be spent on the road trip. So this is why blockchain is beautiful. It's like taking a group of friends, pooling funds together to buy things for the road trip, and then keeping them accountable for it. So the importance of, you know, these types of builds within the community can really, I guess, authenticate the new form and the new expression of what blockchain is and how it relates to, you know, today's society. So with blockchain, we have like the ability to store all this information, right? And it's not just blockchain, it's blockchain in combination to the physical aspects of products. So this is kind of really, really cool. I'm a huge fan of art. I like classical art. I like all the history of art, and anyone who, you know, who's at all familiar with the sphere, right, of the art world knows that there's been like a lot of art heists and a lot of art that has been like stolen. Well, NFTs can help with that. So now, you know, we have the circulation of NFTs, but imagine you couldn't transfer a Van Gogh without an NFT. So, you know, it's legitimacy, right? We've seen this with sports memorabilia. We've seen this with, you know, with pop memorabilia. Things are not authenticated, and how you authenticate them, yeah, you have some specialists, you know, who can tell you and who can place things, but it's never 1,000% sure. If you apply the NFT model to this, you solve so many problems with, I guess, you know, the problems of like authenticity. So Gaia Coin is able to kind of sponsor different projects to create, whether it's, you know, your own ecosystem within, well, you would create an ecosystem within ours, but also we can help you create like NFTs, so we'll make them on OpenSea and whatnot. But one of the cool things is like tracking and tracing products, and it doesn't matter whether it's food products or I said like art or, you know, memorabilia. You get to see the entire journey, pretty much, whether it's from manufacturing or from shipment, and you know where your stuff goes. And it doesn't end there. We started speaking to some people about real estate. Now, real estate is an interesting market because it's one of those things where if you want to close on the house, and I actually closed on my house last year, and it was a nightmare. I had to procure things like just documents, and they needed documents from the seller, and it was a new seller, and with COVID, things just weren't so accessible. Well, if we had NFTs, we wouldn't have like any of that issue. I remember when I was looking into the house, my realtor had a hard time coming in because there was something wrong. Like he couldn't procure the key, or there was just like not a key drop. NFTs can fix that. Like all you need to do is take your phone, you know, go, okay, cool. I have my NFT. Let me open or unlock this door. And once that quote unquote key is, you know, is utilized, you can you can transfer ownership and give it to the owner in this case, which would be me. So these sectors of NFTs are just like you can get like your deeds, you can get your surveys. I mean, you can even see who owned the property, what modifications were done. you can literally see everything. And it's not just property as a house, it could be a car, right? You will know everything without having to wonder if you were being swindled. This is such a fantastic advancement in society. We build a better society, a more trustworthy society, and a society with transparency. And I think that's what's missing in today's world. Some other applications for NFTs, and again, as I said, transparency and ownership of our information is a very key point to have, key points that we make with Gaia. One of the things, and actually when I was speaking about this, was medical records and identity verification. This can help insurance companies. There are teams dedicated to making sure that fraud or insurance fraud isn't committed. Well, if the patient has access to their chart and their information and their insurance payout, it would be a lot easier to process these types of things. So NFTs can certainly propel us into the future, but also into a safer future, into a more accountable future. And I very, very much look forward to that. Some other, I guess, interesting nodes of NFT is intellectual property and patents. And this is why I think the gaming community and the art community really exploded with this use. So traditional, and again, though I went to law school, not a lawyer, so intellectual property law is not my forte, but anytime anyone tries to patent something, it becomes problematic. You have to go through lawyers, you have to go through government, you have to go through bureaucracy, and it's problematic. So once again, the future for NFTs can help us. And it's interesting because you can timestamp things, you can show original content creation, and then you have so many inner workings within NFTs. Like on one of our brainstorms with the Gaia team, we were thinking of kind of doing what I personally call exploding NFTs and having an idea such as for example, we're going to be working with a body painting coalition. And so our whole topic will be recycling and using all the goods that people find but recyclable and make them beautiful. So anyone who purchased this NFT from our event will have one of the models on their birthday say, "Hey, happy birthday." And that's such a little benefit and bonus, and it's interactive, which is what we're looking for as a people, especially as we're evolving. I mean, social media is such a big component of our lives. How can the concept of community and community building and integration not be part of it? And this is where I think the beauty of NFTs lies. And I've just been, here going off about this. So if you have any questions or anything I can answer, let me know.
Wonderful. A great introduction to NFTs and such. I know that I'm probably about a year ago, I was pretty clueless about NFTs. I hear about people flipping cats, buying buying cats, selling cats, buying these crypto punks a year ago, and I would be what's so special about these NFTs? They're just pixels on the internet, but if I heard this presentation a year ago, it would have accelerated my crypto journey experiences. So I really appreciate you sharing about just some how NFTs what they are and how they function. And yeah, would you like to tell us a bit more about Gaia Coin? I think you mentioned briefly about Gaia Coin, and we'd love to hear more about it. And I remember you told me earlier when we talked while I was screening you that you mentioned that you guys work with a environmental I guess it was an event, right, where you took all the pictures from this I think was it beach cleanup or cleaning event?
Adopt a highway, yeah. So it was an adopt a highway.
Adopt a highway, yes. Yeah. Tell us about it.
I'll mention some brief points about it because I'd love for Curtis to really hone in on it. And I know he just finished one too.
Okay.
So
Kurt is in the chat. We could bring him up here if you want.
Sorry, let me see if maybe it's my mic. Is this any better?
Yeah, this.
Okay, great. So in the first adopt a highway cleanup, it was a group of volunteers, a few of the Gaia team as well, who went around cleaning up the highway. So as they were doing it, we took photos. And once we took all the photos, we kind of took all these photos and arranged them. So it's like one big photo made up of all the smaller photos. And we turned that into an NFT. So, I mean, that's an artistic project and endeavor in itself, but it was also something that was great for the environment. And that's kind of what we're pushing for. I do see that we have a question from someone named TC. What blockchain / underlying tech Gaia stack is on? So we were on Ethereum, but we are looking to change out of that blockchain just because of gas fees and to make it convenient for everybody. We're not married to any chain. We are currently looking at others, but currently we are on Ethereum, and we're looking to make it just more compatible with other tokens. So we'll update that on our site as soon as we make the decision to change.
Yeah, I mean, I guess likely it's going to be like an EVM compatible chain, right?
Well, we were thinking of Polygon, Matic. That's So when
so that would be EVM compatible.
Yeah. So when Curtis and I spoke yesterday, and that's where we could have where we were leaning. Also, maybe Kadena. So. Okay.
Yeah. That one's Kadena's picking up a lot of traction lately, so it's pretty exciting. And tell us a bit about, I guess, like you mentioned about the what, right? Tell us a bit about the why. I'd love to hear the why about why, what got you guys started with Gaia Coin.
So Curtis and I are very like-minded, and I think in order to build up a token, to have people join your ecosystem and your team, you need like-minded people. You need people who see eye to eye on a lot of things, and we do. So our politics are very aligned, our morality is very, very aligned. And one of the things that I really appreciated about Gaia Coin is the environmental aspect. You don't have to be, a crunchy hippie to be like, I love the environment. I mean, how many historic events have occurred that have completely hampered and tampered with the environment and, interfered with our blockchain for food or technology? I mean, we had Chernobyl and it still impacted, right? It still impacts wildlife and people. Then we had a few years ago, Fukushima and all of, and there's been so many micro ones that are not even coming to mind. But every single time we don't consider actions for the environment, it becomes problematic. So Gaia Coin hopes to kind of use the tokenomics model of putting environmental action into the blockchain, pretty much like labor.
Yeah, I really love the idea of really just tokenizing environmental acts of action. I mean that a lot of times when it comes to doing good for the environment, people do it only when they have time or something on the side, right? But when there's and also a lot of times a lot of these acts of environmental acts, they are good deeds. They usually go unrecognized. And I love how you guys are able to like tokenize it and reward people, and in a way that, and the best part is you putting it on the blockchain, right? So that it can't be seen by anybody, right? There's an immutable, an objective way of seeing that like this happened, and I could see that, yeah, I could see that like it's going to like incentivize people to start doing more good, to start making a difference, and also for the newer generation, right? Those who have grown up like on the internet, right? For them, it probably will make it like exciting, cool, something fun for them, right? So I really love this concept that you guys are building, and yeah, do you guys like I guess some whereabouts are you guys with the Gaia Coin? Like, have you guys reached, like, have you guys launched yet? Do you have like are you guys building dApps on it and so on?
Yep. So I know that Curtis is in the room, so let's patch him in so we can talk more about that. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to promote you to panelist, Curtis. You may see like something. Oh, there you go. Curtis is here.
Just need to unmute Curtis.
All right, had to unmute myself. Hey, everybody.
Hey, Curtis.
Yeah, I just finished up an Adopt a Highway, but I appreciate you guys. Yeah, we're out here in Greensboro, North Carolina on Williams Dairy Road, and we've got our nice little sign and everything. But yeah, I'd like to just kind of, Ed, if you don't mind, kind of give a 10,000-foot view of the tokenomics model, kind of tell you where we're at and where we're going, if that's okay. So yeah, the whole idea is, a lot of these other consensus models, you've got proof of work, right, which uses a lot of hash power to basically process transactions, and everything comes to consensus to process these transactions. And that's how the coins are created, mined through proof of work consensus. And then, of course, you have proof of stake. And all of that is automatic, and that's great. And I love the autonomy of the blockchain. But I think that one thing that the autonomy misses is the human element of the environment, right? The environment is this negative externality in all of that. So sorry, I've got somebody trying to distract me while I'm in my car. But what we're aiming to do is we are building a platform that other environmentalists can open up their projects on, and our consensus model will be a DAO. And for example, if somebody submits a project through our portal, the DAO will review the project and decide whether that project in its completion would require the issuance of tokens. So, and then once they're complete, all of the proof of that particular cleanup or initiative will be documented in an NFT, and then that NFT will be auctioned off. And of course, proceeds for that NFT will go into a community safe, or like a Gnosis safe, or something of that nature. So as far as where we are in the process, we've been doing this for quite a while, kind of testing out our tokenomics model internally with the team, doing it ourselves. And we're getting to a point to where we feel really comfortable about moving forward. However, yes, Ethereum has become a bit of an issue, so we're looking at layer twos. But yeah, and then we have a collaboration that's going to happen with North Carolina Body Painting Guild that's going to take place in March, and we're going to do an event that is based on environmentalism, and proceeds for that event will go to potentially another nonprofit doing something specifically for the environment. But that's the idea, is that we have an environmental DAO, and Gaia helps get it spun off and get it off the ground. So, but yeah, I hope that's a good enough explanation. Can I answer any more questions?
Yeah, I mean, this is pretty cool of how you guys are doing it, and I love how I'm a huge DAO, like decentralized autonomous organization fan. So like whenever I see that like a group functioning as a DAO, like I love it. Like I do believe that it is the future of from how of organizations, how it should function, that it is democratic, that everyone has a say in it. And yeah, and then like are you can you tell us whether like for like Gaia token, like are you guys you guys have launch already, right? Or are you guys planning an ICO or something?
So we, we do have a token on Ethereum, like Rose was saying.
Yeah.
And we got to a point to where we were, getting ready to DEX, and then, one of the things that we're realizing with our customer base is that, and a lot of retailers are starting to realize this with Ethereum, right? It's like AMC is going to accept Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Litecoin. Well, who in their right mind is going to go buy a movie ticket with Ethereum and pay $12 and then pay a $30 transaction fee, right? So we're kind of in the same boat. We're ready to get moving, but we're either going to bridge, or we're either going to end up on a layer 2, or possibly, we would love to work with Kadena. We have sent them our information. That I love the chain. I love the project. I love what they're doing. But yeah, I think at the end of the day, we haven't completely made a decision, but we will be migrating. I just don't see the Ethereum issue. Of course, there's going to be, EIP proposals that make gas go down a certain amount, but I just can't imagine it happening anytime soon at the level that we need it to. So yeah, we have an ERC20 token. We have developers, and we're willing to, build apps, but I think what we're looking for is, and one of the reasons why we like the idea of being on Kadena, is because the ecosystem isn't built out yet. So, whereas Ethereum has a lot of tools that non-technical people can use to create their own projects, a lot of that doesn't exist on Kadena and a couple of other chains. So we would like to do that. But yeah, and I think you're right about DAOs. And I think that the more products that get developed for non-technical people, I think 2022 is going to be the year of the DAO, whereas right now we're kind of going through a metaverse type deal.